Hi everyone. Who's heard of the 5 ways to wellbeing? Can you put hands up? Okay, so it's about half the room. I'm sure you all have some ideas to contribute. So many things, as you know, influence our ability to function well and feel good. It's not just our individual behaviours and responses, it's a lot more complex than that. So have people seen these two diagrams before? Has anyone seen, can I have a hands up if anyone's seen this before? This is classic health promotion. A few people. Okay, so basically I think global factors such as climate disruption affect our well-being. So for example, it may be very hard to focus on your well-being if you're living in the Caribbean at the moment, where in some islands more than 90% of housing has been destroyed due to powerful hurricanes. This is an example of the climate disruption, instability affecting your well-being and your health. Our access to education and secure housing affect our health also. It's easy to feel good when your housing is secure and in working order. When I was poorer and I had to move a lot and I rented a lot of run-down houses, it did get me down. I lived in a house where I had to, every time I did the washing up, I got electric shocks. Now I live in a house that is safe and functional. I have housing security. I don't have to move every 6 months. And it's certainly helped my well-being enormously. My working conditions are a lot better since I went to university. Before graduating, I worked as a toll collector on the Sydney Harbour Bridge for a while. I was exposed to air pollution. I did not have much autonomy at work. It was boring. I had to work shifts. Drivers abused me. It wasn't good for my health or well-being. Now I have a lot more autonomy in my workplace. And it's a lot easier to look after my health and well-being. So they're just examples of how of the social determinants of health and the social determinants of mental well-being. So we can't think about mental well-being without considering the bigger picture. Thanks. So to improve well-being, we need to strengthen the socioeconomic conditions. This can be very daunting and we can often feel sort of powerless about this at times, but we also need to focus on communities and individuals. And I think we always need to keep this in context. And sometimes the three overlap and it's hard to distinguish. So the 5 ways to wellbeing is basically a framework that improves wellbeing. Just as a lot of people have heard about the 5 vegetables a day. Who's heard of eating 5 vegetables a day improves, hands up, improves your physical health? Okay, well the 5 ways to wellbeing is basically like the 5 vegetables a day. And it can have many applications. And we're going to do some examples of this together today to show you how easy it can be and ideas that you can use with your groups. So the 5 ways, it's hard when you can't click your own slides. The 5 ways originated in the UK from the New Economics Foundation. Has anyone heard of the New Economics Foundation? Oh, one person. Excellent, Peter. So there, you can look them up on the web if you want more information. They're actually a great organisation and they've got some interesting work all the time. So they basically developed a set of evidence-based actions to improve personal well-being. So even though it's a population-based approach, it does focus on individual behaviour change. However, there are applications that you can use organisationally. Yep. So the 5 ways to wellbeing is a strength-based model, and people are doing a lot of this stuff already, and our role is to make it explicit. So it's a foundation that we're working on, and we're focusing on people's resilience and building on this. So now we're going to go through the 5 ways. So the first one obviously is connect, which I'm sure you all know how important that is for your well-being. What is interesting about this, it's the quantity and quality of social relationships that are important. So it's important to know a lot of people in a broad network, people you may just say hello to, and also those deep, personal, trusted friends that you can have more honest and deep conversations with. Both are important for your well-being. Yep. And the next one is give. So neuroscience has proven that mutual cooperation promotes a reward centre of the brain. So get involved, and giving your time to the community is really good for yourself. And these are examples of things you can do. Now, when I've spoken to this in communities, a lot of people have said that they give out so much time. They're already so involved in community groups that for them it's also important to give time to themselves. So that's another thing to keep in mind with this, depending on who you're working with, that it's about giving to the community but also giving to yourself in terms of that self-care. Okay, so now we're going to do a little activity to show how you can use connect and give. So I want you to introduce yourself to someone that you haven't met in the room before, and you're going to ask them 2 questions. What do you do to manage stress? And what is your favourite place? And then we're going to give you a tattoo, if we still have some left, that you can give to that other person. So, it's your turn. So how was that? Did you all meet someone new? Fantastic. Okay, the next one in the 5 ways is to take notice. So this is about being curious, about catching sight of the unusual, noticing the changing of the seasons. It's about being mindful, and this state of being aware of what's taking place in the present movement improves well-being. So we're going to do another activity now about taking notice. And this is to bring your awareness to the current moment in a short time. Okay, so we're going to go through all our senses to do this. And the first one is to notice one thing that you can see. So pick something that you don't normally notice. For example, pattern on the carpet, someone's jewellery, button on someone's shirt. Now something you can feel. So bring your awareness to something that you're currently feeling, like the texture of your shirt, the surface of the chair you're sitting on, or as someone in my office said, my sweaty feet in these shoes. Now something you can hear. Take a moment to listen. Note something you can hear in the background. Faint sounds, or maybe just the silence. Now notice something you can smell. A stuffy room, someone's perfume. Bring your awareness to the smells that usually filter out. Now notice something that you can taste, which is hard when you're not eating. So open your mouth and taste the air, which is something we don't usually do. And that's it. That's a little take notice activity. So that's something quick that you can do. It only took a couple of minutes, and you can actually go through, do 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Now we're going to do another activity about keep learning. So research has demonstrated that lifelong learning improves well-being. Setting goals and planning skills improve our well-being. So we're going to do a little true and false quiz that Emily's handing out now. It's only 5 questions about mental health, and then we're going to go through the answers. So it's probably best if you do this with a couple of other people that you've connected with in this session. And the whole thing's going to take about 4 minutes. I'll read you out the first question so we can get a head start. It's true or false? So number 1 is 32% of people with mental illness smoke cigarettes. The second question is, well, statement, smoking relieves stress. True or false? And the third one is people living with severe mental illness have a life expectancy of 15 to 20 years less than people without severe mental illness. The fourth statement is 10 minutes of physical activity a day will improve your mood. And the last question, people in more equal societies are less likely to experience mental illness. Okay, so the first one, is it true or false? True. 32% of people with a mental illness smoke cigarettes. So the very controversial one, smoking relieves stress. Who thinks this is true? Put your hands up. It's false. So as you all know, this is great. This is a great response from this audience. Usually everyone says, of course it relieves stress. So you all know that smokers live in nicotine withdrawal. What about number 3? People living with severe mental illness have a lower life expectancy. True or false? True, unfortunately. And 4, 10 minutes of physical activity a day will improve your mood. True. And lastly, people in more equal societies are less likely to experience mental illness. What do you think? Who thinks true? Hands up, true. Yes, you're absolutely right. The World Health Organization has established a World Mental Health Surveys that demonstrate that different societies have different levels of mental illness. And in some countries, only 5 or 10% of the adult population have suffered from mental illness in the past year. But in the USA, which is a very unequal society, more than 25% have. And in the answer sheet, there's a little graph with the evidence about this. Okay, so that was keep learning. The next one is to be active. So we're going to be active right now because we've got a sedentary day, and I know a lot of us that work in the local health district are doing the September challenge. Who's doing the September challenge here? Hands up. Ah, not many. Okay. We're going to try and do a little YouTube Zumba warm-up. Now, I'm a very uncoordinated person, so I looked through a lot of YouTube videos to find one that I could actually do without getting completely lost. So we're going to do it now. Okay, so you need to get up and follow the moves. It's 4 minutes. You might need some space, so you might want to go over to a section where you can, bit of space. Oh yeah, Emily and Brenda can come up here. They're coming up. I don't actually know this. I can't do it without watching. Maybe we won't be doing Zumba after all. We might just have to have a stretch and a shake. Not working? All right. Well, I'm sorry to raise your expectations. There'll be no physical activity. Okay. Okay. I'm only going to make you do it for 2 minutes. Okay. How was that? It wasn't 4 minutes. So there you go. That's 10. As you know, 10 minutes of physical activity improves your mood, and we just lived that. You know, that couple of minutes. I heard laughter, and it was made us all feel better to get up. Oh, what's happened to my slideshow? So that was be active. So I hope this has inspired you to run a 5 Ways project with your organisation. We have some resources available for loan. They're out in the with the stalls. We've got some banners and a tablecloth. We're putting a community guide for community workers about running a 5 Ways project in your organisation. Emily and Brendan and Henry on our team are available to ring up, and we can help you with an evaluation program or ideas. And I know a lot of people are already doing this anyway. I heard that people are already doing it, so it'd be good if you could let us know what you're doing so we can put it in our guide that we're going to send out to organisations just to help other people with ideas. And we also offer training for people and organisations to become 5 Ways champions. So basically, that's an individual or organisation who talks about the 5 Ways with other people, so with your friends or your colleagues. It doesn't have to be so formalised, but also promoting the 5 Ways to Wellbeing actions in the communities that you work with. And the other thing is the Sydney Southwest and Sydney Wellbeing Collaboration's vision. So this is basically what we're trying to really promote. This is a loose coalition at the moment of people, but we want to work to more coordinated and strategic action to improve wellbeing in southwestern Sydney. And there's people doing great work all over the district, and we want to really coordinate it a bit better. That's one of our long-term goals. For example, with Mental Health Month, put out a district-wide calendar that where all our events are on, and I know we're starting to do that already. There's great foundations here. So we're having our annual symposium, our first one. It's called From Surviving to Thriving, and we've got about 40 presenters, so I encourage you to come along. We've extended the early bird till the 18th of September. It's only $80 at Liverpool Hospital. And we're also holding an annual forum on March the 22nd to highlight the issue of physical activity and mental wellbeing. And the new Mental Health Commissioner for New South Wales will be the keynote speaker at that. We've also got a Facebook page, so if you go onto our page and like it, you can stay up to date with developments and put in your posts of what you're doing and promote your activities as well. We should have a newsletter launch in October for Mental Health Month, so if you've got any ideas or any articles that you would like to write, please contact us, and we'll be doing that regularly throughout the year. And you can join up the association, the collaboration. We've got membership forms out in the stall so that you can receive the newsletter. So that's basically it from us about the 5 ways. There's our the collaborations contact email. That's the best way to contact us because all our team can see those emails. So thank you.
And can I just say a huge thank you as well. I'm just feeling, you know, the fact that we've had the only human app and now followed by the 5 ways to wellbeing, we're going to be walking out of here today on a real high. So just a wee present from us. And again, join me. Have you got enough hands? I can hold it for you for a moment.
Thank you.
Join me again in thanking Gabby Martinez. Thank you so much.